Well, he brings in a work experience of more than 25 years as a senior role as a shareholder, director, and chief operating officer, managing partner, and has as a head in various institutions of repute, bringing in the diverse experience in the Indian financial markets. With that kind of experience, it's indeed an honor to call upon the Chief Business Officer of BSC. Let's give it up for Sunil Ramrakhiani.
Good morning, everyone. So interesting to start the session in the beginning. And typically, people avoid talking in the late half of the day when you don't find the listeners out there. But in the morning also, I am seeing that given the Bombay and that too in the Friday, people yet to reach. But still, there are a lot of learned guys around here. Maybe I'll just run through the kind of thoughts which we carry in terms of the topic which is there today for the Viksit Bharat at 2047. And typically coming from capital markets, wealth creation through capital markets is something which I want to touch base upon. What is the role? What is the vision? What is the country carries? I'll just touch base upon a couple of points and what is the role BSE is willing to play to achieve that vision of Viksit Bharat in 2047. So how to make India country with a US $30 trillion economy by 2047. That's something is a vision statement which is there. So India has been growing at one of the fastest growing economy for last 10, 12 years. And we have seen that we already become the third largest economy while we were at 10th largest economy way back in 2014. And now we are the third largest economy, fifth largest economy, and on our way to become a third largest economy by 2028. Again, in terms of US dollar, our numbers are $3.5 trillion currently, and to become a fifth largest economy, a third largest economy, we need to get to the $5 trillion by 2028. Interestingly, rising aspirations, I think one of the points touched by Dr. Narendra was demographic dividend, which I'll touch base upon in my coming points. Particularly, high rate of GDP growth requires a lot of infrastructure, capital market infrastructure, and also that to happen in a realistic scenario, we should be growing in terms of double digits in terms of nominal GDP growth. And that can only happen with a vibrant capital markets in India. So what is the role of capital markets within that context of achieving vision of Viksit Bharat? So good functioning of this capital market is one of the backbone for any kind of growth which has to happen in the our economy. And efficient transfer of the monetary resources from the savers to the deployers and the effective users of that capital is the very, very important part of the overall ecosystem development. And for a company or entity to raise the funding, domestic capital markets provide an alternative source other than the banks, which is the normal source of funding till now, unlike in the past, where banks were the primary source of funding. But in terms of the growth of the capital markets, particularly post-COVID, the kind of growth what we are seeing in terms of the flow of capital and the kind of capital which is getting raised through the IPOs, small and medium-scale enterprises, kind of funding getting raised is something which is a point to reckon with in the current context. So just in terms of numbers, where do we stand in terms of the capital which has been raised in 2024-25? Currently, in last 9 months, we have seen the growth of 21% year on year in terms of raising capital. So for the year target, what we are looking at around 14.27 lakh crores, which is going to get raised in terms of the overall capital through the equity and the debt markets till now. So capital markets as a catalyst, that's something which is very, very critical part in the overall context, what we should be really looking up to. Our Prime Minister has emphasized that the transformation that needs in terms of the Indian overall economy to make it a Viksit Bharat, you require an investment across urban transport, you require smart cities, you require water and healthcare, which must be driven in terms of raising capital by innovative financial structures, financial solutions, which can provide a long-term capital. So in realm of that, a lot of work has gone in terms of the kind of institution which had got created, instrument which have got created. So there are different measures, different numbers which are coming out, I'm sure, with the economists sitting around here. The number which we envisage is around $1.4 trillion is required in terms of the infrastructure between FY24 and FY30 So there are a lot of instruments which have got created in terms of institutions, also which have got created, like infrastructure debt funds which has become very, very popular. Real estate investment trusts, REITs, which is becoming very, very popular these days as a instrument to unlock the hard assets. Infrastructure investment trusts are there, and there are now municipal bonds being rolled out currently in terms of raising capital. Role of BSE in the overall context, just I was mentioning to some of the colleagues which I met just before that, BSE is celebrating its 150th year this year. So we are the oldest stock exchange in Asia right now. We are the exchange which has got the largest number of companies listed anywhere in the world. More than 5,400 plus companies are listed onto the Bombay Stock Exchange. The overall market capitalization and the wealth which has been created through this institution has been more than $3 trillion currently. So we provide a platform for listing small and medium scale enterprises to the main board IPOs, which you are seeing every day getting listed onto the Bombay Stock Exchange these days. In the financial year 2025, the kind of money which has been raised through the platform is 2.61 lakh crores on the equity side, debt side, 4.97 lakh crores, and including commercial papers. Total amount of money which has been raised in the FY 2024-25 is 13.75 lakh crores. So there's a substantial mammoth contribution which is coming onto the overall part of the creating that. More importantly, in my initial part which I talked about is the demographic dividend. We saw the numbers which are being catapulting or growing in terms of the new investors coming onto the capital markets. Interestingly, pre-COVID numbers and post-COVID numbers are really startling. Pre-COVID, total number of investors in India who were participating in capital markets from 1990 onwards when the markets had got liberalizing, 30 years, 2.8 crore investors were there. Now the unique number of investors in India is more than 11.5 crores. That's the kind of stuff. It's a quadrupling of the numbers which has happened. And that's what is happening is the fintech revolution is happening. The ease of account opening is happening. You are able to open the capital market account within 20 minutes. There's a kind of a digital public infrastructure like Aadhaar which has enabled this kind of the speed of the growth which has happened. Demographic dividend, that's one of the very, very critical part. Interestingly, around 20 lakh kind of accounts, I'm just giving a thumb number, 15 to 20 lakhs kind of accounts have been opening per month. Out of this 20 lakh accounts which are getting opened, between the age of 20 and 30 years of age, I'm just giving the classification, 25% of the investors, new investors are coming into the markets are in the age of 20 to 30 years. 50% of these new investors which are coming is in the age of 30 to 40 years. Unlike earlier, our kind of stage, Roti, Kapda, Makan was a priority and for our father, and then later stage for us, the investment cycle. Now the investment cycle, investment journey is happening much more earlier in terms of the life cycle of the investor in India. So more than 80% of the investors who are opening account are below the age of 40 years now. So pretty early demographic advantage in terms of starting saving. What has been catapulting or what has been really the enabler for that is the mutual funds. That's where the real savings of the money is moving from the fixed deposits where they realize the taking a bit of risk in terms of equity participation onto the capital markets. That something is a very, very important part of the shift in terms of the saving habits which is happening. So BSE provides a Star Mutual Fund platform, which is the largest mutual fund platform for driving this kind of a change. So more than 80% of the mutual fund money which is coming through the digital platform is coming to this Star Mutual Fund platform, which enables all India distributors to use that platform to drive their investors to put in the money onto the mutual fund. So that acts as a intermediary between the asset management companies / mutual funds and the distributors. And you as an investor use those platforms to put in your money onto mutual fund. So that's where the role of the BSE comes into the picture into the mutual fund platform, other than the raising capital onto the IPOs and small and medium scale enterprises. Given the shortage of time, I would like to just say we would like to continue to contribute in terms of the growth of the Indian capital markets, particularly in terms of achieving the vision of the Viksit Bharat by 2047. And that's what I can say as a future ready leaders, the kind of investors which are coming in. I saw that the kind of guys I'm meeting today during the breakfast time, there are a lot to go in terms of the taking advantage of the overall demographic advantage what India carries. Thank you.